Good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock, and it's Monday, March 18th, 2024, and we will call this regular City Commission meeting of the Sault Ste. Marie City Commission to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Bospis Rath. Here. Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Habusta. Commissioner Marble.
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
Commissioner Habusta called and let us know that he would be out of town working, so we'd need a motion to excuse.
So moved.
Support.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? He is excused. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mayor comments and general announcements, I really don't have any, but this past week, a few of us were able to go to the Michigan Municipal League's Capital Conference in Lansing. There were 323 registered city officials and managers. There were, of course, we had opportunity to meet with our legislators, Senator DeMoose and Congressman Friske. And there were a lot of excellent sessions. I know that city manager enjoyed a few sessions that were on there. There were a lot of different things that they talked about, housing related, and I don't know, Jay or Brian, do you have any, or Commissioner Gage, sorry?
Yeah, I was going to make a comment too. I think, certainly the Capitol Conference is a unique time to go and talk to our state legislators. But any of these MML conferences that you get to talk to and interact with, you've developed friendships with communities all over around the state. And it's good to see so many of those folks again in those settings. And one of the things that I really want to make sure we highlight, and I'm guessing the mayor isn't going to do this, but he is the vice president of the Michigan Municipal League and will likely be the president of the Michigan Municipal League next year. So not only having Sault Ste. Marie represented that well, but having that level of input for our community is truly a special, unique thing. And so certainly I want to thank the mayor for his service, but they couldn't pick a better vice president than Don Gary as far as I'm concerned. So
Thanks, Jay.
it's a great time to go down, and it's also certainly great to spend time kind of bonding with my fellow colleagues. So it's always great.
Thanks for those comments. City manager, do you want to? No. All right. And we'd also like to mention that long-term City Commissioner Clayton McGahey passed away this week. I know that he served until I think it was 2007. And just all in all, great guy, and we appreciate his service. And if we could have just a quick moment of silence on his behalf. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, we are going to bump item B just for a few minutes here. So we'll go to item C, which is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments on any of our agenda items this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll move on into item D, which is the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of March 4th, 2024. Item 2, acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, and Tax Increment Finance Authority 3 meeting minutes of February 13th, 2024. Item 3, consideration of Traffic Control Order 24-01 on East Portage Avenue. Item 4, consideration of a renewal agreement with Lamar Companies for outdoor advertising structure, a billboard. Item 5, consideration of a resolution to certify and add 1741.0 feet of West 4th Avenue. Item 6, termination of private use agreement with Sioux Tribe for the use of East 10th Avenue. And item 7 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager. Does anybody have any questions on any of these items or like them removed for individual consideration? Seeing none, Commissioner Bauer.
So move we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion did pass unanimously. Thank you. Now we will go to item B, which is proclamations and recognitions. Back almost 7 to 10 years ago, City of Sault Ste. Marie began to host meetings with the U.S. Coast Guard, Sector Sioux, which I know has a new name, I'm sorry, in order to enhance communications and collaboration. From this partnership, U.S. Coast Guard Integration Committee was established. We work on initiatives including the Coast Guard Vinyl Program, some welcome binders for incoming families, and volunteer recognition. This evening, it's my honor to introduce Captain James Bendel. If you would come up, I know you have some words to say, I think.
Mayor, this is such a really great deal. Such an honor for the Coast Guard. Oh, yep. All right, rookie. This is a rookie. Forgive me. Okay. Good evening. Again, Captain Jim Bendel from Coast Guard Sector Northern Great Lakes here in Sault Ste. Marie. What an honor this is. So I've been in command since June 23rd. On the day of my change of command, driving into town, seeing the patriotic banners, being greeted at the event by the members that are seated here, as well as community members, really reinforced the small town feel, but more importantly, the importance of the Coast Guard and the relationship with the city of Sault Ste. Marie. And it is extraordinary. So during my 8 months here, there have been so many moments and so many days arriving at the sector, being in communications with the mayor, members of his team, the chief of police, the fire chief, just day-to-day dealings that just make our service and our teamwork so worthwhile and special. So it was no surprise to me, but again, an amazing honor when I learned that there was special recognition that the town had for a Coast Guardsman for the Volunteer of the Year. Reflecting on that this week, I was like, I've been in the service for 26 years. I've been at so many different units, and I can't think of one where something like this happens, where we are invited into the chambers to talk about fellowship, to talk about partnership, and to recognize really one of our stars at the sector. So certainly I have my team assembled. They're pretty easy to pick out in uniform, but we are really, really proud of Petty Officer Genest, and just to have the town be able to recognize her efforts and service to the country means so much to me, Sector Northern Great Lakes, and the United States Coast Guard. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So if you'd like to come up. We have a plaque for you. It's 2024 Volunteer of the Year, presented to Kaylee Genest.
Yes, sir.
In recognition of your dedication to volunteerism and improving the lives of those in your community. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sure. Yep. Do you want to say any words?
Sure. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the award. Thank you for, it's such a lovely community. I volunteered with the foster home, with the softball, and every opportunity's been amazing. There's some amazing people in this town, and thank you so much to my chain of command. We have a amazing Coast Guard base, amazing Coast Guard family behind me, and we have so many other Coasties that are so quick to bounce on any opportunity. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
If you don't mind, Captain, I think I'll read from the, it's quite lengthy, so let me get the right spelling in here. So, is it OS2? Is that the correct? Okay, OS2 Genest has been a sector Northern Great Lakes for 3 years. In 2023 alone, OS2 has coached youth softball for ages 10 to 12 for the spring season. Also coached ages 8 to 10 in 2022. OS2 also assisted in the Project Backpack volunteer event, where multiple bags full of school supplies were donated to the United Way. She made flyers, announcements, and was responsible for coordinating the pickup of school supplies. On July 26th, during Liberty Hours, she drove and assisted 7 foster children in touring Bay Mills Community College. She's created a volunteer event with the Sioux Co-op Preschool, which led to 8 members from Coast Guard Sector Northern Great Lakes volunteering to clean up the preschool yard before school started in the fall, and even helped in acquiring other volunteers to help repair one of the preschool's fences. Petty Officer Genest is the direct coordinator for members visiting Sioux High and discussing the Coast Guard and benefits with Mrs. Aldridge's career counseling class, and she set up 5 different days of visits from October 23 to present day. During the holiday season, OS2 Genest helped plan and execute the local foster home Christmas party in town, which led to over 100 foster children receiving gifts. She set up a giving tree on base for members to buy gifts and help plan the party, dinner, and events during the party. In addition, OST Genest is also highly involved with the sector and is constantly volunteering for all opportunities. She's a victim advocate, critical incident stress management peer, women's leadership initiative chapter head, and largely involved in morale, leadership, diversity, and inclusion, and the annual Great Lakes Leadership Diversity Inclusion Symposium planning. She has dedicated so much time in and out of uniform to strengthen the reputation of the Coast Guard. She's a true civil servant, both in and out of uniform. Very impressive. Thank you very much. And you are not obligated to stick around for the rest of the meeting. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate all the support you have, too. Yep, thanks. So we will move on into our item E, which is special orders of business. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration. Did everybody come out of the room? Up first for commission consideration is a request to establish a personnel committee regarding the city manager's contract. As the commission is aware, my contract is expiring in October of 2024. It was a 5-year term that was signed October 2019, so it's coming up this October. In conversation with the mayor, he thought it'd be a good idea to have a personnel committee that kind of leads the review process and the development of a successor agreement, commission willing. So this one has 2 motions to it. There's a motion to create the personnel committee, and then a motion to adopt no more than 3 commission members to that personnel committee. So I don't have a recommendation on who should be on that personnel committee, as that's something that should be flushed out by the commission. So
Thank you, City Manager. And I think in the past, it's been the mayor and 2 commissioners on the committee, since the mayor spends probably the most time with the manager. So any discussion, comments, questions, or volunteers? I think Commissioner Marble had said he would be interested if the commission so chooses. Any other thoughts? Commissioner Bauer?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're looking for somebody, I'll do it.
Anybody love HR stuff?
I've done these before too, so.
So we'd have to cap it
Yeah.
at 3 to keep it under a quorum for the, sure. Okay. Commissioner Gage.
I was just gonna politely decline because I'm not gonna be here next year, and so I'm a short timer, so I'm gonna politely decline.
Okay. All right, so we need somebody to make a motion to create the personnel committee. Would be the first one, so,
Do you want me to-
sure. Commissioner
Motion
Busterad.
to create the committee.
Support.
So it's moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then the second motion would be to appoint Mayor, Commissioner Marble, Commissioner Bauer? Sure, Commissioner Runcie.
Motion to appoint Commissioner Marble, Commissioner Bauer, and Mayor Gary to the committee.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Under E, Special Orders of Business, number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to approve an ordinance which would replace PA 207 of 1921 with PA 110 of 2006. It's a small change, it's a text change, the zoning ordinance. But by law, we have to follow the same process if it was anything else. So we do need a public hearing to receive public comments on this proposed change. If there's no further questions or discussion, we look for a motion to approve the attached ordinance as presented.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions on this item? Commissioner Gage.
Motion to approve.
Public hearing first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion to open a public hearing.
You don't have to have motion.
Don's in charge.
No questions? All right.
It's a good thing you're not on my personnel committee. I mean,
So,
Shutting you
we
down.
will open the public hearing on the ordinance to amend the city's zoning code by replacing references to PA 207 of 1921 and PA 110 of 2006. Is there anybody in the audience that has any comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Mr. Rubenstein.
Motion to approve the attached ordinance replacing references to PA 207 of 1921 with PA 110 of 2006.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Moving right on to G, business items. Number 1, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration are a series of approvals regarding a MDOT bridge grant that we have received. MDOT's local area bridge program grant funding for fiscal year 2026. The grant award is for $358,000. It has a city match of $35,000. First motion is a motion to execute the grant. Second one is to authorize a contract with OHM in the amount of $44,000. And then a motion to amend the budget to reflect total project costs of $442,000 as presented. So this is a grant that we received. It's going to do some bridge work over by the Bingham Bridge, Johnson, West Portage, Spruce, Fort, and Riverside Bridge.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions for City Manager or City Engineer who's faithfully in the audience? Seeing none, I know Commissioner Bosbus-Rath likes these
You know,
three
I love
motion
the
agenda items.
multi-motion.
Yeah.
All right, number 1, motion to accept MDOT bridge grants and allow city manager to sign.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Bosbus-Rath.
Number 2, motion to sign OHM contract for professional services in the amount of $44,000.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Commissioner Bosbus-Rath.
And lastly, motion to amend the budget to reflect total project costs of $442,000 with grant revenue of $358,200 and city match of $35,800 to come from existing bridge maintenance project.
Support.
Has been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to G, business items. Number 2, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request for approval to switch the currently self-administered PEHP funds for the DPW unit to MERS with their healthcare savings program. So, long story short, some of the commission is aware, There was a change in interpretation on the PEHP funds that the city currently administered. At the time of origination of these plans, they were considered a defined contribution, but through a series of changes and a new auditor, they were reinterpreted to be a defined benefit plan, which has a whole host of other reporting requirements and auditing requirements that follow through with it. To ensure that the unions are getting the best bang for their buck in these programs, there was a discussion about switching it from being administered and managed in-house to a MERS program similar to what the non-represented employees have within the organization. So a lot of this had a lot of back and forward with the union reps on the PEHP board. I guess taking a step back for those of you that don't know, there's a PEHP board for every, I don't want to say every unit, but every unit. The police and police command are under one PHP, fire command is under one PHP, and then there's DPW, clerical's not in it, they've got their own, yeah, so there's 5. Yeah, the other ones have MERS, so right now the way it's set up is we manage the money, we have investment accounts, there's a lot of administrative work to it. This is gonna switch it to MERS, they'll have their own individual accounts. Any contribution that comes from the city as the employer per the CBAs will get put right into their individual accounts with MERS. There was the conversations around the boards. DPW is the first one moving forward with this switch. We would hope that there would be the following, or there would be other PHP boards that follow this act. So this one is essentially moving or establishing the MERS Healthcare Savings Program on behalf of the DPW unit and on behalf of the city. So this doesn't really have any cost directly to us. The contributions that go to what could be MERS for the PHP for DPW is all established within their collective bargaining agreement.
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions on this item? Who is the PEHP liaison? Any words of wisdom for us?
No, just it's been an interesting process to watch play out, and I think a lot of work from everyone involved. So glad it's moving forward.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work on the DPW reps. It was a lot of work on the finance department. When did we start this? Probably August last year. August last year. And this is the first one that's kind of moving forward with it. So the other ones are still working through that process, but it's been a ton of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations, but we're happy to see this one move forward, commission willing.
Would you like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the MERS Healthcare Savings Program Participation Agreement and Plan Addendums for DPW as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to G, business items. Number 3, City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is a request to establish a budget and authorize the expenses for $61,800 in emergency purchases for the backup generator and new lift station at Park Place. Bingo. Long story short, generator had a problem at the Park Place lift station. The amount of wastewater that flows through that lift station on a daily basis, with it being down, kind of constituted as an emergency. Without the pumps, there's a high risk of it backing up into residents or businesses within the area. Director Masterson went through the motions. He found some replacement pieces. We put those in place. And like I said, this one is just amending the budget and authorizing the emergency expenses and $61,800.
Did you say you have some kind of lift station bingo going on? Is that?
We played through that card already. We've got a lot of the lift stations up and running on a very reliable basis. I mean, in the last 2 or 3 years, how long have you been here now? 2 years? I mean, it's been a focus of Director Masterson's time and effort in getting those critical pieces of infrastructure kind of up to where they need to be. So
Anybody have any questions for city manager or Director Masterson? Seeing none. Commissioner Gage.
Motion to amend the budget for the lift station capital equipment in the amount of $61,800 for emergency purchases of a backup generator and a new lift pump.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions, comments before we vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion also passed unanimously. Moving on into H, city manager announcements and updates. Looks like a few items there.
Just a few items. So first foremost, the foreign trade zone, which we've had in place for a number of years now, finally has a space that is activated that kind of completes out the process of having a foreign trade zone here in the city. So there's an area in the incubator off of Meridian Avenue that has gone through the Customs and Border Patrol process. It's certified, it's secured. It is available for outside businesses bringing materials into the U.S. or vice versa. There's a duty-free benefit to working out of that space for foreign businesses. It's something that was a long time coming. There's a lot of time spent getting that activated. So that's activated, a big step. There was a press release last week about it. We did receive a grant for lead pipe investigation. It's about, Kirk's not here, of course. It's a few $100,000. We're working through some of the details and the paperwork right now. In the near future, we'll be sending out letters to areas within the city that we suspect may have lead pipes in order to schedule an inspection. We will go on site, or we or a contractor will go on site. They'll take a look at the lead pipes and they'll determine if it's lead or not. That will be the first step in possibly securing some more grant funding in order to replace out those lead pipes. This is all part of the state of Michigan's process of getting lead pipes out of residential houses, kind of in the wake of the Flint water crisis. Just a quick update, docks and launches are in for the most part. I think Ashland Bay is not yet because there's still some ice over there, but the other launches and docks are in and moving forward. Polar end of the season will be this Sunday, so get any kind of ice skating you want in there. And then last but not least, I will be out of the office all next week, March 25th through the 29th, returning on April 1st. So.
Thank you, city manager. Any questions or comments? The trade zone activation, I think, is a big thing. I remember back in 2007, that was a question on the candidate forum, and nothing has happened since then. So it's good to get that moving finally. I think it could be a very useful tool for attracting investment. Huh? All right, so we'll move on into I, matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? Sure. If you could give us your name and residence for the record.
Hi, I'm Kristen Collins, Finance Director. I thought there was an agenda item for the DDA. It was regarding the pension underfunded. Was that on this agenda? I was out on vacation last week, so I thought I set it on this agenda, and it's not here, and I was kind of like, because I...
The DDA last meeting. What? Who?
Put your mic on.
We went to the DDA board at the last meeting. I don't see it on the
I've
agenda item for the commission.
So my apologies, I intended to put it on this agenda, and it is, for whatever reason, the MERS plan covers the city, the DDA, and the EDC. And I have no real great explanation for why, but for some reason the DDA has been determined by the Treasury as underfunded. So we had to submit a waiver to request the Treasury to overlook this underfunded status. The city has taken action to remediate the funded status through MERS by having new hire group after 2012. And the DDA is just part of this whole process of ensuring that the MERS plan is funded appropriately and that we're making steps to ensure that it maintains a funded level as a pension. So the waiver is due back by the 25th of March. So my apologies for somehow this being overlooked. It's probably my error. But if the city commission, I don't know if it's too late to take an action item on the public comment portion?
We, with the unanimous vote of the commission, we can add it to the agenda.
Okay.
But we'd need some support. Do you have any information that you could give us to review real quick?
No, but I could request an extension on the deadline and put it on the next meeting. Sounds like
If we can get
Fine.
an extension, put it on the next meeting.
I will do that. Okay, and then I'll have all the documentation before you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
My apologies.
thank you. Anybody else in the audience? All right, we'll move on into item J, which is matters presented by the city commission, commissioners. Commissioner Rubenstein.
I want to say congratulations to the LSSU men's basketball team who beat Upper Iowa last night, to secure a spot in the Sweet 16 for their tournament in the Midwest Regional Final, in which they will be playing the Ferris State Bulldogs, so a GLIAC rival there with a chance to go to the Elite Eight. And tomorrow at 6 p.m., Lake State is going to be hosting their annual snowman burning, and then right after that in the Sisler Center down in the Galley, there will be a watch party to cheer on the team. Go Lakers.
6 p.m. in the Player Commons, or where do they have it now? No, the snowman burning.
No, over by Sisler.
Over Sisler?
Over by the Edmund Building.
Okay, so 6 p.m.
They're not gonna do that in the fire sciences lab.
Commissioner Gage.
I just wanted to note that I had the opportunity to attend the Hiawatha Skating Company's Silver Blades Review. They do that every year. I got asked to volunteer and run the lights. Certainly, Commissioner Rubenstein's son did a great job. His first show, they were doing a number, and he decided to skate off halfway through the number. He just threw with it. But I think they do an amazing job, and it was great to see the community kind of come together for something like that. And certainly, the Puller looked great, and it's just nice to see the Puller community building being used so frequently and so often. I know it's an important part of our community, so just wanted to make that note.
Thanks for your comments.
But don't park in front of it anymore.
Anybody else? And city manager reminded me that Friday at 6 o'clock is the opening of the Sioux Locks. So it's kind of our rite of spring in Sault Ste. Marie. So 6 p.m. Friday. Commissioner Bauer.
Your Honor, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Support.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor say aye.